Mr. North and South American, all ships at sea, let's go to
The Bitchspot Report. Welcome to The Bitchspot Report, the conservative atheist podcast that's not afraid to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Every week, your hosts, Cephas and Mike, will take on the latest religious and political news and examine the world around us from a distinctly conservative and skeptical perspective. Join us now for this episode of The Bitchspot Report. Welcome to episode 52 of the Bitchspot Report podcast. This could have been our 1-year anniversary show had I not had to skip a couple of weeks along the way. But this year, we're not skipping a damn thing, and you won't be able to get away from us no matter what you do. So sit down, strap in, and go along for the ride with the only conservative atheist podcast that I know of as we take on the news of the day and laugh at the religious and political crazies. You know, it would have been nice if this would have been our 1-year podcast, but we did that 2 weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, we could pretend.
Yeah, we'll pretend. Okay.
We're talking about pretend people, pretend religion, all that kind of stuff. Hey, we could pretend that we've been only doing this a year.
Yeah. And we did want to apologize once again for last week's show. We did have a few technical problems. And it's weird that there are a couple of other podcasts I listened to, and last week, 3 or 4 of them had the same kind of technical problems.
I know at this end, I had turned on Audacity, but I didn't bother to check to see if I was recording from my microphone or from the laptop microphone. And apparently when I went back and looked, sure enough, it was recording off the laptop, not off my external microphone. So I don't know if there was an update. I don't think there was any updates to Windows 8, so
no.
I don't think there was.
Don't know. I don't pay any attention to Windows 8 because Windows 8 sucks.
It's not bad, but it's weird. It's just weird getting around in it. That's been my thing.
Yeah.
Cause you got an apps window and you got I always end up defaulting to the, just the standard desktop, but even there, you have to go into the apps area to shut down the computer. It's like, they took Windows 7 and broke it on purpose.
Well, they're already talking about Windows 9 where they're going to get rid of everything they did in Windows 8 and go back to Windows 7.
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah, I was like listening to, like Cognitive Dissonance and they lost their entire email segment because it didn't record. So it's like, okay, It wasn't just us. Everybody's having problems this week.
Maybe it was that asteroid that came by real close. That
could have been it.
Yeah. So, it's either that or, there has been so much weirdness. This is just the tip of the iceberg, what we're going to be talking about tonight. There's all sorts of stuff these past couple weeks, and from all angles. We could easily do a 5-hour show today if we wanted to, just from the crazy shit I've come across.
Yeah, same here. You know, and most of the stuff we're talking about is actually pretty positive this week. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing an all news show and most of the stories are actually relatively positive. So let me ruin that right now, and cause I got a bitch about something. You know, and this has nothing to do with anything, but it just happened, so I felt like I wanted to get out there and just complain. So no, I'm going to be negative. You know, on the way home today, I had to stop for cat food, so I ran into Walmart and grabbed a couple things real quick and got in the 10 items or less speedy checkout lane. Why the fuck are the checkers in the speedy checkout lane the slowest fucking people in the store? You know, you don't put stupid, slow people in a lane for people who are in a goddamn hurry. They're painfully slow. And then they think they gotta be cute. Okay? Now, I understand why they want to see your ID and your credit card to make sure you're really using the card and there's no credit card fraud or anything like that. And that's cool. Okay? But they're so damn variable about it. Some people ask for it. Some people don't ask for it. You never know. And then you got somebody like this fucking bitch who waits until I put my credit card back in my wallet, put my wallet back in my pocket, then she asks for it. Fuck you, bitch.
I have this thing about putting my signature on the back of the card, and apparently people freak. It's rare. I think Best Buy for a while was checking the back of the card for a signature. You know, and like I said, I don't sign the back because, one, I don't want someone getting a signature, that type of thing. And, it's like, what's the big deal? All you're really interested in is the metallic stripe on the back that says the card is what it is, and it gets all charged and everything's good. it comes and goes. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's because it was a holiday or something was going on where they started looking for our signatures. And I think one time I did sign it right in front of him. And he goes, well, that's not good enough. It's like, well,
then why the hell did I just sign it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody ever checks around here. The thing is, all they want to see is the name on the credit card and your ID. That's all they care about. But it's like 1 time in 10 they'll ask. But when they ask, it's usually just because they're being fucking obnoxious about it. They're just stupid. And this bitch was even more obnoxious. She thought she had to be cute by this whole goddamn thing. And I was already pissed off that she's making me wait. I've already got my cart loaded up. I'm ready to get out the door. And she's just sitting there being goddamn slow. And she goes, well, I'm not going to let you go until I see you smile like you do on your license. I said, well, bitch, then get your fucking manager over here and filing a formal complaint against you because you're holding up your customer in a hurry. Get your ass in gear. And she's all, oh, all right. It's like, fuck you, It's like when I go to goddamn Lowe's, I never ever go through a checkout lane with a person in it. I always go through the self-checkout because I figure, if you as a quote-unquote professional checker can't check me out faster than I can do myself, fuck you. But they always get really upset and they're all, I can help you over here. Well, if I wanted you to help me over there, I'd be over there, wouldn't I? I don't want to deal with you and your shit. You trying to sell me crap. You trying to get me to sign up for credit cards and all this other crap. I want to check out and I want to go. I'm not here for your entertainment. Fuck you people. You're supposed to be doing this job for me. That's why I'm paying you. I'd rather not pay you. I'd rather have no more checkout people at all. I'd rather have all self-checkout lanes. Fuck them all. And just in and out and that's it. You can't find them to help you in the store if you need help. But they sure as hell want you to walk through their lane.
It's gotten so weird. I mean, early on when Best Buy came to town, I thought, cool. I got a place where I can buy computer stuff. I was at the time I was into the bulletin board thing and, I was always upgrading my modems and doing this and I go through the Best Buy bargain bin to see what they throw the old floor models in there or, something that's been returned or, whatever, and it's always marked down, almost half price. So it's like, I was buying stuff, practically an almost new computer for half the price that they would, you would buy it off their shelf. And, I was just amazed that the people they hired, I knew what I was going there. I knew what I wanted. I wanted a, 14.4 modem. I wanted I want that, and it was like, they look at you like, why do you want that? First of all, or a lot of times it's, well, why do you need that? And it's like, because I want one. I need one. I know what I'm doing. I had this one guy, I bought 2 monitors. I was going to rig up, on my good computer at home, a dual monitor setup. And he goes, you sure you know what you're doing? And I go, fuck yeah. I've got a card that'll support 2 video cards. If I wanted to, I could put 3 on there if I wanted. I was being nice and yeah, I know what I'm doing. I've got a high-end video card, it's like, and it's like, if I'm going in there saying, I'd like a computer that will do this. Being the average non-tech person, yeah, you could pull that stuff off on them. You don't need them, you don't need all that. Just here's something good for you. This is the right size. But for someone like me, it's like, I know exactly what I want and, you can't, don't try to tell me I don't need it. I need this. I needed the, cause see, I would be in there buying 4 or 5 modems at a time. It was the time, it was 14.4 was the big thing at the time. So I was upgrading all my 24s to 14.4 and I needed, 5 modems and, it's like, I know what I want. I know exactly what I want. And this guy was saying like, why do you need that? It's like, because I need them. It's like, I wanted to say, because I know what I'm doing. I actually do know how to put together a computer, type of thing. I don't know if they buy up stuff so far ahead of time that, some of the stuff looks like it's sat in a warehouse for a year almost. I had these 14.4s had, a firmware that was a year old. I'm like, what? I thought these just came out or whatever. I don't know what the deal was so it's like, oh God, it is frustrating to go into these places and you know what you want. You knew what you wanted. all I want to do is get in, get out, pay for it and be on my way. I mean, isn't that what they want anyhow? Get you in, get you out, and take, as much as they can out of your wallet as you go out.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be but.
Well, I've got a good Best Buy story I'm pissed off about still. On Friday, this last Friday, I had to get something. I got on their website. It says they have it in stock in the store. So I drive down there and I'm walking around the store and they don't have it. They don't even have a place for it on the shelf. I mean, it's not like they just sold out or whatever. There's not even a tag on the shelf for it. And I asked somebody and he's going, well, I'm helping all these other people. I can't help you. So I said, this is fucking stupid. I'm standing in the store. So I called my wife and I said, why don't you get on their website, buy the damn thing for pickup in store immediately, and I'll just pick it up, I'll go up, I'll stand on the line, I'll pick it up and I'll come home, and that's not a big deal. So she does it in this whole 9 yards. It takes all this time. I'm still standing there an hour later, and on the website it's still going, still being set up and all this shit. And I said, this is ridiculous. So I went up and asked and they couldn't help me and all this stuff. So I just said, fuck it, cancel this bullshit. And it wouldn't let her cancel it because because it's in store being processed. 7 hours later, it finally said, oh, we don't actually have it in this store. Fuck you. But by that point in time, I had already said, screw it, got on Amazon, ordered the part, got it cheaper, got 2-day shipping with Amazon Prime, and it showed up on Sunday. They deliver on a frickin' Sunday. Screw Best Buy, Yeah. It's like, why the hell do you even have this? See if it's in our store thing, if it's wrong.
Yeah. I rarely go in there. I mean, I actually there's a little shop nearby that I usually go to. The guy can order it. He can have it within a week. And I mean, unless it's really pressing, then I can go on Amazon and order it, and get it. Yeah, I got Amazon Prime too. So it's, I can get it a day or two, spend a little extra, whatever. But really, I mean, the only time I go to Best Buy is their stuff. Why do I really go in there? Now that I'm thinking about it, other than maybe, cause I want to look at the monitors. I mean, buying a monitor off of Amazon probably could work, but I kind of like to see it, see what it looks like. Because I bought these 21-inch, these big monster HP things, and I really, it's like, oh, I dig this, and hey, it's on sale, so I bought 2 of them. Of course, the guy looked at me like I was nuts, but I said, fuck it. I mean, this is what I want. I want a large monitor. So I can, between my games and doing the stuff I do on my website and all that kind of stuff. I mean, a large monitor is fantastic, but it's like, I want to see it because I've bought monitors sight unseen and, I won't do that again. I will not do that again. I had one catch on fire and then the other one just stopped. I mean, the screen just went down to a little bubble and, it's like, oh. Okay, I'm not doing this again. Of course, granted, so.
Yeah, and the other thing that pissed me off about Best Buy is apparently they've got fucking cell phone blockers running in their stores now. Nice. Because, you walk around inside the store, cause I'm on the phone with my wife, while she's doing all this stuff on the computer. And it's just nothing but static. You walk out the front door, stops. It's all perfect. So they want to stop people from going into their store, pulling out their phones and looking for better prices online. Well, maybe guys, if you had better fucking prices to begin with, you wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
But don't be a dick. Seriously, I probably will never buy anything serious at Best Buy ever again because their prices suck. I'd much rather just hop on Amazon or whatever, or, Newegg or whatever online site, get it at half the price that they're selling it for, and the hell with them,
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I like dealing with this guy. It's a little shop. I can get a computer about half the price of what I could get at Best Buy. I mean, and if for him to build me a computer, it could be, 4 or 5 days tops. And I really like dealing with them. So, I mean, I'd rather spend my money there because it's also, 10 minutes from my house. I mean, boom, I'm over there. I could pay for it all and be home and life is good. And then again, for other parts, little stuff, Amazon works great for me too. So there's really no sense in going over there, especially going to the particular mall that this place is in too. These people just don't know how to drive. There's some concept about left turns. People in Illinois just does not understand. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, but I'm just getting frustrated with all that crap.
Yeah. And then they wonder why everyone's going online to find stuff. Well, if you can't get it at the store, or you can't get a good price at a store.
Or all your employees are just rude little assholes.
Right. Yeah. I love doing all my shopping online. I've probably spent more money at Amazon than I think I've spent anywhere else,
Yeah, same here. Because they have such great service, it shows up before they ever promise it's going to be there. My Amazon Prime stuff usually shows up in one day. It's just, you stumble over stuff going out the front door going, oh crap, look at this stuff. It's already here.
Yeah. Yeah. I suspect that Amazon's has been hooking up with, smaller outfits, delivery outfits, because I know some stuff will come, UPS, some will come, by US Postal. And then there's, for a while there was an outfit I'd never heard of them. They're out of Minnesota and they were delivering stuff. And it's the same, cause I'll buy my books from there. I'll get my, various electronics, whatever toys, whatever, that type of thing. And, this place, it's like some kind of place out of Minnesota that delivered. I'm like, they must have, I don't know, maybe, finding ways of getting the stuff to you as fast as they can. And I love it. I've never had to return anything to Amazon yet, so I don't know how that,
no. Hey, good story. And we're getting way the hell off topic.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go after this. But for my youngest daughter's birthday, which was at the beginning of the month, we ordered stuff off of her Amazon list. And one of the things on there, and this has been a problem before with Amazon, and I don't know what the problem is, but we ordered her a DVD that she had already gotten for Christmas, but it had never gotten taken off her list. So I went back, I said, okay, cool, it's not anybody's fault. I went ahead, I sent a thing in that I want to return this for a refund, and they said, okay, we'll give you your refund. You don't even have to return it. Okay, cool. And I was thinking, I'm going to just mail this back and that'll be that. It wasn't anything expensive or anything, but they just said, okay, we're going to credit your card for the amount of the purchase, plus the amount of shipping, or plus your tax, plus everything. And, oh yeah, keep it. Okay. So now I'm going to go sell it.
Yeah.
Next time I do something on eBay, I'm going to throw it up on eBay and sell it.
There you go. Yeah.
It's like, cool. I love me some Amazon.
Yeah. That's good to hear. Hopefully if I ever run into that, I can, take advantage of that.
Yeah, usually I don't return stuff. It's like, all right, my mistake. I fucked up. I'll sell it or I'll just give it to somebody or give it to somebody else as a gift or whatever. Right. But hey, if they're going to give me my money back and I can do that, no worries.
Yeah.
Love them. All right, well, let's go ahead and do some news before we do an entire hour of this.
Yeah.
And now the news. A massive study says that atheists are smarter than those who are devoutly religious. This is written up in the Inquisitor. The study is by Myron Zuckerman and his research team at the University of Rochester. The idea was, let's figure out, is there a connection between atheism and higher intelligence? They looked at decades worth of research in 63 scientific studies, not informal surveys. They found in 53 out of those 63 studies that there is a reliable negative relation between intelligence and religiosity. In other words, as intelligence goes up, religiosity goes down. However, Lewis, this does not mean that being more intelligent, that being more religious makes you or means you are less intelligent, or that there is direct causation. All it shows is that there is a correlation. And I think that this is not about smart people, who are religious. This is about, broadly speaking, not anecdotally, but broadly speaking, that a higher IQ does not make one less religious in principle, but that those who are more intelligent, as a result of the ways that, broadly speaking, they tend to pursue life and examine things, involves less of a religious life. That is, I think, really the takeaway. It is not an ad hominem attack saying religious people are dumb or that religion makes you dumb, but it really is more about sociocultural factors and religion being one of those, and broad statements we can make, Lewis.
Right. I like making broad statements. I mean, to put it plainly, it basically means that people with higher IQs tend to realize that the fairy tales they might have read when they were younger might not be true.
Now, this is something we've addressed in the past, at least tangentially, but I think it's important to bring it up again. A new review of 63 studies performed over the last several decades by researchers at the University of Rochester have revealed something that a lot of us have known for a long time. Atheists are more intelligent on average than theists. It demonstrates that people who have a higher IQ are much more likely to reject religion than those with a lower IQ. Of course, these are averages. There may be some very intelligent theists and very stupid atheists, but there are so many studies that confirm this, it's difficult for anybody with a grasp on reality to doubt that it's really true. And we talked about this before. And why are there still people out there going, oh, well, theists are just as smart as atheists? No, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this. I mean, it's a meta-analysis. 53 out of 63. I mean, I've heard people, be careful with meta-analysis, but this is pretty, significant. 53 out of 63 points to a more intelligent reject religion. And, this is pretty solid as far as I'm concerned. And, as far as theists go, it's denial. I mean, they think that, they feel that they're smart and their religion, whatever is the true way and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, well, this can't be true. There's gotta be something wrong with these studies or whatever. And, if you've got a brain, and use your brain critically, you will see that religion really is nonsense. It's nonsensical. And I thought it would be nice that, someone get it through their heads. Hey, the religion's on the outs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've known for a long time that IQ and religiosity negatively correlate. Like I said, I've talked before about studies going back to the 20s even, which suggested that the more naturally intelligent someone is, the less need they have for any kind of religious belief. And if they do have religious beliefs, they tend to be much, much more liberal religious as opposed to fundamentalist. The extremist religious beliefs are just very, very, very poorly represented among those holding quote-unquote genius-level IQs. We also know that education and religiosity negatively correlate. You look at the National Academy of Sciences. 85% of them are atheists versus 15% which hold any kind of religious belief. Philosophy. Virtually all philosophers are atheists, with the exception of people who are doing like the philosophy of religion, where they're religious, but outside of that little group, everybody's an atheist. The more intelligent you are, the more capable you are, the more rational you are, the less you need to have any kind of a religious belief. And, I was even thinking, I've got a couple of news articles from peer-reviewed journals that are at least like 20, 25 years old, that are actually printed off mimeographs and all that.
Wow.
Yeah, remember those? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
But they pointed the same thing out 25 years ago. All right. Nothing has changed. The trends haven't changed. The more educated people become, the more scientifically literate people become, the more intelligent people become, the less they have any need for religion. That's why religion's just going away.
Yeah. That's why amongst the religious, there's that backlash against education where they are pulling their kids out and homeschooling them in a Christian fashion. I was watching this, was it on HBO or something like that? Or there was something, I forget what it was, or if it was whatever it was. And there was this woman it was HBO. They did the thing about creationism and evolution, kind of that Darwin Day stuff that's been going on. And, she's like, I want my children to understand God. So they took them out of school and she's homeschooling them. And, I am not a big fan of homeschooling. You could probably do it right, but there's a lot of problems I see with homeschooling. And clearly homeschooling is a way to dumb your kids down. And again, that's probably the excuse why they're homeschooled is because the parents want to indoctrinate their children in their beliefs. So if the parents are religious, they're going to teach their kids religion. And that's what these people were doing. They were treating creationism as, I mean, it was like Ken Ham creationism to their kids. And this is their schooling, that's why I don't feel that's one of the problems I have with homeschooling, is because the religious uses it to dumb their kids down, which is a travesty.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that you can do homeschooling right. I think that there are plenty of people who do secular homeschooling right, but most of the people who are doing homeschooling are people with college degrees, in education, who know how to teach their kids things, and who actually understand the subject material. Most of the religious fucks who are homeschooling their kids don't have a clue. These are people who've never gotten a college education, who don't know how to teach, and who are teaching out of the Bible, not out of a credible educational system.
Right. But I think that lends too that the religion is really opposed to any education. I mean, you'll see it in the Muslim world. Women are not allowed education. A lot of times even, men are not allowed if they're being taught outside of a religious setting. So I think we've seen it with, even here in the States, and the religious wanting to put, because they're trying to press forward the creationism and all that kind of stuff in a religious basis. But the idea is that you have smart people, they reject religion. They know that this is what's going on, so they're doing everything possible if they can get that religion thrown in there somehow, and because that takes up time from real education. Now you got dumber kids, and they'll be more susceptible to religious doctrine.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that there are a lot of people out there who are very intelligent and who do fall for some kind of religion, but they don't fall for religion because of their intelligence. They fall for it in spite of it. You look like somebody like Francis Collins, who, genius guy, head of the National Institute of Health. You can't say anything bad about this guy, except one day he walks out in the woods, sees a waterfall frozen in 3 parts, and suddenly goes, well, there is a God. No, you're an idiot, alright? When it comes to your religion, you're a fucking moron. And if you listen to him talk about his religion, he's an idiot. But he's very intelligent as long as you stay outside of those religious bounds.
Right.
You don't find people who are just, I decided I was highly educated and I decided to look at all the evidence and I decided to do things objectively and rationally and I came to the conclusion there was a God. That just doesn't happen. That doesn't happen anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know even, I can't expand on that anymore. I mean, cause that's the thing. Being educated, helps you reject anything religious.
Right. Well, I mean, going to the Francis Collins thing again, he has the education, he has the know-how, he understands how to look at the world, how to evaluate evidence, how to think about things critically, and when it gets to his religious beliefs, he throws all that out the window, completely ignores everything that he's learned in college and his entire scientific background, and he just goes to this, well, it feels good, so it's gotta be true. No, you're a moron. That's not how it works. All right, why don't you do your first story?
Okay. This is from the Washington Post, Religion. Fired Tennessee pharmacist sues Walgreens alleging religious bias. A Tennessee pharmacist and Baptist church deacon who lost his job after an ongoing dispute over selling Plan B contraception has sued his former bosses, claiming he was fired because of his religious beliefs. And this is a really weird story, actually, because Walgreens accommodated him. That's what it sounds like. He was being accommodated for his belief. So when someone came in looking for the Plan B, when it was a prescription, he would hand it off to another pharmacist because it was against his beliefs to sell this pill. So he got another pharmacist to fill the prescription. And then when the Plan B pills became over the counter, he began to basically refuse. He even, apparently what brought this all to a head was that he bought them. The pills came in, he paid for them, and then he stole them. He took them and dumped them somewhere. And so Walgreens questioned him about it and told him that's what he did because he didn't feel right selling these things over the counter. So they fired him.
Which they should have.
Which should have happened. And now this guy's like, he's now claiming religious persecution. It's like, no, You were fired because you were an idiot and you stole from the company.
Well, he didn't steal. He paid for them. He bought them all at retail price.
Right, but he took the pills and threw them out. So he stole the pills from the store because the store owned it.
Well, no, he bought them. They were his pills. He could do anything he damn well pleased with them. But if it was his job, if he was thinking that from now on, every time they got pills in, he was just going to buy them and destroy them, yeah, I guess he can do that. The company still makes their money off of it, but I would just say, well, then let's send 10 times as many pills to the store every time.
Right. Yeah. But it's like, this whole thing, it's so stupid. I don't even know where to begin because it just seems like, this guy, he had ways of dealing with it. There were routes for him to have his, associates sell it or whatever. He didn't have to physically touch the damn things. He just, Walgreens has had enough of it because, they're in it to make money, and
they should be.
And, it's one of those where I'm always, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite here, but, I don't like forcing my atheism on anybody. And I think religious types shouldn't be forcing their religion upon people. I'm definitely, this guy is forcing his religion upon other people that he has no right to. And, I think this is where I think my problem with this guy is he's basically forcing his beliefs upon someone else. You don't do that. And,
there's no religious right not to do the job for which you were hired. I'm sorry. These people need to completely disavow themselves of this ridiculous notion. There isn't any. All right. I reject the idea that pharmacists, doctors, nurses, lawyers, whatever, get to discriminate against people or be able to refuse to do their jobs just because they have religious beliefs. If you don't want to do your job, quit. It's really simple. And that goes for any religious belief out there, not just birth control. If your religious beliefs are stronger than your desire to make a living, by all means, quit your job like an adult and go find something else to do. No business out there should be required to change their policies to accommodate a ridiculous belief. And I'm cool if you come up with some kind of an internal agreement, like they apparently did with this guy, where if somebody came up with a prescription for this, he could hand it to somebody else and walk away, and these people could still get their prescriptions, and that was the end of it. I'm cool with that because it's just an agreement between individuals, all right? But if you're the only one there in the store and somebody comes up with a prescription, you gotta grow the fuck up and do your job. All right, you can't just sit down and say, well, I'm going to harm my employer because my religious beliefs are more important to me than the job that I'm being paid a paycheck to do. And these people will sit around and bitch and whine and go, oh, well, it's against the Constitution. Well, no, it's not. All right, there's no constitutional protection for this kind of crap. All right, the Constitution only refers to government infringement on your rights, not about private industry and private business. All right, same thing goes for free speech. People sit around and go, well, these people won't let me speak on, they won't let me talk. Well, you have no fucking constitutional right to talk about anything you want, wherever you want, on whatever stage you want to stand on. It refers to government restriction only. You people need to fucking read the Constitution.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at this from the angles of if this guy's forcing his religious belief on other people. That's what he's doing. If he disagrees with abortion or cause that's what he believes. You take this pill, it aborts a fetus. Maybe not. Who knows? I think technically it can't. This is just, it prevents the egg to implant. Once it implants, the plan B doesn't work anyhow. So you're not killing any fetuses.
You want to know who to blame for this shit? The biggest abortionist out there in their beliefs? Fucking God. Because the vast majority of fertilized eggs don't implant anyway. But they don't think about that, do they?
Well, they don't want you knowing about that. They want to keep you dumb and stupid.
Yeah, well.
But, this is really forcing a religious belief on somebody who may or may not agree with it. And I think, it might sound hypocritical because I'm basically, maybe I'm forcing atheism upon somebody. No, I'm just saying, this is what we see. We see these injustices, take it in, add it to your collective knowledge, make a decision. That's all I'm in for. I'm not going to try to force anybody to become an atheist. It's never going to happen. But I'm going to point out the hypocrisy of religion, and this is one of them. These are people trying to force their religion upon people who don't want it. I mean, creationists, they want to force this idea that, upon us that, the world was, created in 6 days and 6,000 years old. You can't force me into that, and I won't, you can't force my kid, if I ever had one, you can't force my kid to learn that. I don't want him learning that in public school. I mean, I would send him to a private, Christian school. He could learn it there, but I don't want that taught in my public schools. That's our argument.
Well, because public schools aren't the place for that.
Right.
Public schools are there to teach the demonstrable facts, not to teach somebody's religious fairy tales.
Right.
Until you actually have evidence that these things actually happened in the real world, you got nothing. There's no reason to put it there any more than we should put, anti-GMO crap or Bigfoot or whatever. We don't teach those in schools because they're nonsense.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really just wish these people would say, hey, if my personal beliefs get in the way of my ability to make a living doing this job, I should just say, I'm just not going to do this job anymore. I'm going to go someplace else. If you want to go start a Christian pharmacy where they don't sell anything offensive, knock yourself out. But I'm willing to bet you'll be out of business in 6 months because nobody will go to it. So these people want to force their religious beliefs on people, on other businesses, say, hey, we have these ridiculous beliefs and you have to respect us. No, we don't. Says who? Nobody says we have to respect your stupid shit.
Right.
Get over yourselves and join the real world. And that should be the end of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Couldn't agree more.
All right. Well, let's do something better. Hey, it's another feel-good story. What's wrong with me? Studies have shown that Bible stories risk vanishing from the lexicon of American children as their exposure has dropped almost 50% in recent years. It used to be that more than 90% of American children were exposed to stories like Noah and Adam and Eve in the home or in the schools at least once a year, but that figure has now fallen to 46% and it's continuing to plummet. James Catford, the Bible Society chief executive, said that the latest study indicated that the Bible's brilliant and engaging stories could be lost to future generations unless people take action. He says it like this is a bad thing. Good! This is positive! This is a great thing! Let's get rid of these stupid religious bullshit stories!
Oh, definitely. Or at least, if you're gonna press these stories, put it in the right context. Put it in I don't know what would be a good context for it, but, that's, how is it?
Hey, look, these are stupid things to believe. That's the right context.
Yeah. I mean, these are tired stories, Every year growing up, we get the nativity story. It's the same thing. Same thing happens. My mom always picks on me because I like watching World War II documentaries. And she always goes, well, who won? It's like, yeah, but it's, for me, it's the journey, type of thing. I'll watch those World War II documentaries over and over and over again. But, with the Noah story, it's the same thing. It's, the nativity story, the Samson and Delilah story, you name it. And I think nowadays, maybe, with the, shorter attention spans and such, you hear it once, hey, I'm good, maybe that's it, I don't know, but,
yeah, but they're complaining that they're not teaching these stories in home and in the church. Well, in school they don't belong, but what's the damn excuse for parents not teaching their kids about these things in their own homes or in their own churches? Well, this is really...
That's a scary, that this is where the stories need to be told, it's like, if you're going to save your, to promote your religion to your kids, this is where it has to happen. Is it because the parents are just so, disconnected to their kids that, that they actually want that? That's why there's this push to get stuff like that into the public schools, because they don't want to do it at home. There's a lot of stuff's wrong, with these people.
Yeah, well, I honestly think that it really demonstrates that religion is even in worse shape than they think. Because if these parents are not taking the time or caring enough to teach their kids about these stories. And we got to remember, we're talking about 46% of children are hearing these stories compared to more than 90% in their parents' time. That probably indicates that these parents don't really take these stories seriously. Okay? They're saying that many children cannot even identify classical biblical stories like the creation story and nativity that come from the Bible. They don't even know where these stories come from. Well, I think that pretty much tells us that these parents are really just playing the part. They don't really believe any of this nonsense. So where the religious sit down and say, oh, 85% of the country is Christian. No, probably not. You're probably looking at a very small number of actual people who believe it and a much larger group of people who say they're Christians because they think it makes them look good to their neighbors, but really don't give a shit about it.
Yeah. That may be exactly what's happening because, clearly, we're seeing declines in, anything religion. In this case, I've always, growing up Catholic, I've seen these people who, they go through the motions. They're just there. And I think the only reason why they go to church is so they can network with other Catholics, to make a little bit extra money. I think it's was more of a network thing and I'm sure that's how I'm sure that's probably what they look at it more, that they go to the church to meet clients, or potential clients, drum up some business. Oh yeah, I go to this church. Yeah. Or, I haven't been there. I haven't been here last week. Of course, he probably was at a different church doing the same thing. But, I'm seeing that, it's religion's now more of like a social club than anything to be spiritual about. Sounds like the Freemasons, it's like that, their religion, but it's more of a old boys club, you meet other like people to, eventually maybe do some business with. That's really what Freemasonry is, and it's nothing secret about it, of course they want you to think it's all satanic and all that, but and that's probably why they think it's satanic, because they can't get in because they're too, but I'm going off on a tangent there, get back on top. But I think, the idea is they go to church to drum up business, meet friends, chit chat for a little while, shake the hands with the priest and go home. They don't take anything home with them,
Yeah.
It's like their social obligation. It's not no religious obligation. It's all social.
Right. And it's funny to watch these people, like all the people from the Bible Society, who just freak out about this kind of stuff. And I think it really betrays the fear of the religious that their beliefs are slowly going away. And it's not that slow anymore. Where they once had the vast majority of children automatically indoctrinated into their teachings, that's largely gone away. And the drop in religious adherence and church attendance and all this other stuff, it reflects this fact clearly that religion is failing. And these people can't deal with the fact that it's failing. They're looking for excuses to explain why it's failing. And we're going to get into that more in a later story. But I think this is just a wonderful thing. I can't wait until it's, 6% of children are hearing these Bible stories. I can't wait till nobody hears these Bible stories and everybody goes, well, the Bible's just a load of shit. Yeah. Why is this a bad thing? I think this is a positive, and we should all be hoping that this is the way that it goes.
Hoping this is the prevailing trend.
And now, speaking about that story that we were going to talk about in a minute, why don't we do that story?
Let's do that story. This is from the Baptist Standard. Varied responses to religion's great decline. This is a new study that shows that the decline of religion in America may be worse than imagined, but neither impressed nor shocked Craig Nash, community pastor at the University Baptist Church in Waco. For years, Nash watched as study after study reported significant drops in key measurements like church attendance, prayer life, and denominational identity. I feel like these surveys come out every 6 months and they say the same thing. Worse yet, they keep some congregations and ministers so fearful they constantly try to dream up ways to keep people from leaving their churches. At least someone's getting a clue.
Yeah.
That there's definitely problems here. And actually, what this is, I think early on I took this position that, religion needs to kind of rework themselves to stay relevant. Well, here it is. It's right here in this article, that, the biggest problem is that these churches are trying to stay relevant and they can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked in the past. I don't think churches can simply rebrand themselves without being complete hypocrites. All right? A church isn't supposed to be just another business that does whatever it can do to get customers in the door. They're supposed to be purveyors of the one and only holy word of God. If they rebrand themselves, aren't they just saying that they weren't serious about what they were teaching all along and so we're just going to try something else? How is anybody going to trust that?
Yeah. Just looking at the situation. I mean, if I was a church, I'm trying to, cause the idea is to fill the pews. I mean, that's what they really are there for, is to get people, butts in pews. But I would think if they wanted to survive into the future, cause see, I also have this feeling that people are, it's, again, the shortest attention span. You change your take, your whatever, you adjust your religion to meet kind of relevant terms, people forget what you were talking about a year ago. I mean, that's just the way at least Americans are. But you know what? I think, at least in this article now, it's like, with my argument that, the churches have to stay relevant, that's not even working. That won't work, so, that kind of destroys my argument. And basically, and at least for the purist, those who are, who have been Baptists since day one, 50, 60 years ago, they having their church change is not going to set well. So you're going to, and you're doing that just to, cause I saw the Catholic Church do that. They tried to be, they went from I want to say that cause there was the communion rail. I mean, technically you could not cross, there were lines you were not allowed to cross when you were in the church. And they actually had these rails set up. So almost like a jail cell to keep the people away from the priest, and that was the old time Catholic Church where they had the Latin Mass. It's like, who speaks Latin? I mean, most of the people in there could barely speak English, let alone now they got to learn Latin to understand what the guy was talking about. And then the priest would come out, past the communion rail to hand out communion. Then he would go back in and do his thing, So the churches started, I don't know if that was Vatican II that started eliminating that.
Yeah, it was.
Vatican II started eliminating those barriers and they dropped the Latin Mass. They dropped the communion rails. Though a lot of the churches still had these kind of, I know the one in Ottawa, there was these tiers going up to the altar, and you really weren't supposed to go up more than one or two tiers up that thing, but that's, that was that church. But then like in the 70s, they started, instead of having the Gothic hymns type thing, they started bringing in a guitar player and a piano player, and they would, kind of make it sound like a Baptist revival. I don't know,
Well, that was really what it was. Yeah. They were trying to bring people back into the church. And, I kind of disagree with them taking out those rails, because as we've come to learn today, we need to keep people away from those priests.
Yeah, that would have been a good thing to keep those around. Except the altar boys were on the other side of the rails, so.
Yeah, we need to move them over.
Yeah, they couldn't get away. It made it easier.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think religion can get back the people that it's lost. I mean, let's be honest. Religion largely focuses on fantasy. And now that science has reached the point where it answers a lot of the questions that religion once said could never be answered, well, people realize they don't need to go sit in a pew and talk to themselves anymore.
Yeah.
That's why religion is losing people. And I also find it funny, if you read through this article, that the religious are claiming that just because people are leaving their churches, that doesn't mean they're becoming atheists. The rise in atheism over the past 10, 15, 20 years has been amazing. And over the same period of these studies, they've been losing shitloads of people. Atheism has been growing by leaps and bounds. So I'd say that the vast majority of them are becoming atheists. And even if they don't identify as atheists, these are people who are walking away from organized religion completely. Does that make them atheists? I don't know. But I suspect that a lot of them are simply irreligious now, not identifying with any group or belief. So by my estimation, that does make them in the closet atheists at least. They may not use the term, but if you don't have a religious belief, yeah, by definition, you're an atheist. And there's an awful lot of people out there who just don't have religious beliefs anymore. So yeah, I'd argue atheists are winning.
Yeah, the atheists are winning. I'm kind of leaning toward, that they might be going into some of the Eastern religions where it's not really, and I'm not saying, I shouldn't say religion. Is Buddha's, I'm kind of wondering if it's really is a technically, well, they follow Buddha, but it seems more like, it's like a collection of sayings. But anyhow, I've seen, there's people are going to, Krishna, Buddhism. There was that, that was the big thing in the 60s for the hippies to abandon the traditional religions and go into these Eastern philosophy, Eastern religion types. And certainly in the 70s.
I don't really see that today, though. I don't see that today.
Yeah. I kind of wonder, that's just my question out there is, cause I'm going to bet 80% are either going to be atheist or agnostic. They may be right in along that cusp. You're probably going to see just a handful that have embraced, Buddhism, Hinduism, some of the Hindu religions. I do have a feeling, it's a gut feeling, that there are still people who like the spiritual aspect of religion. It's just that they can't accept this force-fed, this dogma, like you get out of a Christian or a Baptist. The Unitarian Universalists. They still kind of latch on to Christianity, but they really don't. It's that weird combination. So I think there's probably, I would say a very good chunk of these have left religion is atheist or at least abandoning any type of spiritual aspect. There's still some that are just hanging on to onto a Christian God or whatever. So I think you're right. Cause really religion is rapidly becoming irrelevant in the scientific, aspect. So I'm just thinking there's people that they just can't quite they're trying to let go, but they just can't because there's something that tells them there's gotta be more, which is actually a true statement. There's more. It's just, we'll find that out as we discover more through the scientific method and rationally thinking through, what the world really is.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing is, I think that a lot of the people, and you said this already once today, I think a lot of these people were just going to these churches for the social aspects. It's the same thing that's really happening with the stupid atheism Sunday service garbage that we're seeing today, is you're getting a lot of people who just want to be in some kind of a social club. So they're going ahead and saying, well, this is just going to be an atheist social club and we're going to go sing songs and listen to people with guitars and, talk about scientific subjects and all this other stuff. And I think there's probably a place for that. To be real honest, I don't have much respect for people who do that stuff. If you want to have a social club, go find people you have something in common with, alright? Go find a hobby. Go meet some friends, make friends, do something. Don't just go sit in a room and sing some silly songs and listen to some people talk. I really think all that stuff is kind of ridiculous. Go find something you enjoy doing and then find people who you can enjoy doing it with and live your life that way instead of just having this imaginary little group that you're part of that you really don't have anything major in common with any of the people there except you don't believe in a God. Okay, great. I don't go hang out with people because, I don't believe in Bigfoot. I do not belong to an Bigfootist church. I think that's just stupid. So, I think it's probably true that there's kind of a critical mass that we've hit where, I thought for a long time that it was just going to be a very slow process where people were just going to trickle away from the church and, the churches were going to maintain power for a long, long time until finally enough people had walked out the door where they just slowly collapsed and faded away. I don't think that anymore. I think we're getting to that critical mass where people are realizing, especially all the people who only went to church because they thought it made them look good to their neighbors, that they don't have to do that anymore. That they can just drop all these beliefs that they didn't really hold to begin with, and they can just get on with their lives without having some kind of a social aspect with regard to religion. And so I think this trend is going to continue, and it's going to speed up until all the religions out there are just a ghost of what they used to be.
A shell, empty shells.
Well, they were always empty shells, but they'll be empty buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think all of these stories we're doing today, this is all very good news. And the religious are scared shitless.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, just hearing some of the stuff coming out of Pat Robertson's mouth. It almost sounds like he's trying to be relevant, and he isn't. He's failing miserably, you know.
Well, he's never been relevant.
Well, true, but he's trying to sound like, you get these guys, especially a Pat Robertson who's trying to, trying to keep whatever he preaches. I mean, honestly, I don't know what religion he is now, because some of the stuff that's come out of his mouth doesn't sound too Christian to me, but it's like he's trying to, I don't know, cause it almost sounds like when he tells people to, divorce your Alzheimer's wife, or it's okay to do this and whatever. It's like he's trying to do some type of, I don't know if he's trying to remake the religion that he's in, but he's failing miserably. I mean, that's the only way to just, but he's like trying different things. I don't know if he's doing that just, saying stupid stuff to get, TV attention, or, attention on the internet, or is he really, the brain has just stopped working, and, what have you, and just, he's going to spew out whatever pops into his head. That I don't know, but it's like, it just seems like there's, especially watching him, he's saying stuff that, would he have said any of this stuff 20 years ago? I mean, Alzheimer's, I don't know. It's probably always been out there, but, it wasn't as prevalent as I would say now, maybe. But would he be saying the same thing 30, 40 years ago, 50, 100 years ago when he was a kid, would he be saying this kind of stuff,
Yeah, well, the thing is back in the day, these people didn't have to try. All right. They opened their doors and they stood up there and they just spouted whatever the crap they wanted to say, and people threw money at them. Now they gotta fight for the money, so they've got to keep trying new and different things. And even in this story where these pastors are going, we gotta keep trying something different. We gotta find some way to get these people back in our doors. 20 years ago, they didn't have to do that. They just got up there, they read a couple stupid things out of the Bible, and everybody just threw money in a hat. And life was easy. Life's not easy anymore. They gotta compete.
Yeah.
I don't think they have anything to compete with, though.
Well, market share, they're losing market share. It's going over to the other side. How to compete? I don't know. Other than probably get elected to government and then force religion upon them. Of course that would go over well.
Yeah, no, sorry. Religion is just a scam. But it reminds me of something I saw go by on Twitter a while back, where it says something like, Christians are a horribly lazy people. They hire a guy to read the Bible for them and then stand up at a pulpit once a week and give them a book report. And that's probably true, but now they're just, we're tired of that book. We're going to go read other books. Leave us alone. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do another one. And I loved this story. This story was hysterical.
I love these.
All right. I just had to do this, although it's got really nothing to do with religion. In New Zealand, owing to an Official Information Act request, Prime Minister John Key found himself having to make a statement to the press over an accusation that he is, in fact, a giant lizard from outer space.
Oh yeah. I love these stories. These are wonderful. These are wonderful stories.
Yeah. To the best of my knowledge, no, Key said. I've taken the unusual step of not only seeing a doctor, but a vet, and both have confirmed I'm not a reptile. I've never been in a spaceship, never been in outer space, and my tongue's not overly long either. Now, I'm not sure if this is just funny or just absurdly sad.
Honestly, when you read the article, and when I saw the name David Icke, I knew exactly what this guy was up against. David Icke has been pressing this idea that all the world leaders and all our corporate leaders are these shape-shifting reptiles from based on a Babylonian, I don't know. I don't think it was the Nephilim, but I don't know if it was, whatever. But that the earth had been infiltrated by these reptile aliens, and they've taken over, they've become the world leaders, and they've been able to disguise themselves. So the Queen of England, I don't think they've claimed Obama being one, but I know the Bushes have been, Bill Clinton's one. I don't think they said Hillary was one. But pretty much like Bill Gates, Ted Turner, you name it, that they're actually reptiles that have can cloak themselves to look like humans, and they run the world through. I've heard different. Again, David Icke I haven't read any of his stuff because I don't want to spend money on his stuff. But I've heard stories that they apparently these reptiles will kill babies, drink the blood, and then grind up the babies into McDonald's hamburgers. What else do they do? Apparently.
Oh, does that have anything to do? And I saw this news story go by a couple days ago, but there was a claim that all the missing children in the U.S. are actually being ground up and put into McDonald's hamburgers.
Yeah. One group says it's the Jews, which are of course another extension of this story. So it's all, conspiracy people, you gotta love them. They'll pick, it's like how Americans pick their religion. It's all a la carte. I'll take a little bit of, dead babies, reptile aliens, Illuminati, and that's my conspiracy. And they'll put something together.
And then we'll roll it all up in Jesus.
And Jesus, either Jesus ran the lizard people, whatever. He can get in corporate, this guy, this is great. He sat there. Just telling the guy, basically saying, fuck you, you're a moron.
Well, yeah, he was, but he was doing it nice.
Yeah. That's what it's like a big middle finger to, David Icke because, I've mentioned David Icke. He used to play soccer, football, English football. He decides to, retire. I don't know if he was injured or not, but he became a sportscaster. And then during a sportscast decided to spout this theory that, the earth has been invaded by aliens, these shape-shifting reptiles, and the Queen of England is a shape-shifting reptoid. And that's when he lost his job.
Yeah. Go figure.
He lost his job. Now I've heard different stories. He was basically a lone wacko in England. He wrote some books, a small clique. And then how he got to the United States, again, there's this other nutcase, Jordan Maxwell. What was his real, I forget what his real name is, but he changed his name to Jordan Maxwell because these were power words in, ancient Babylonian. Okay. That's,
Jordan Maxwell is a power word?
That's the best way I could describe it because Maxwell believes that, certain words have a religious connection. I wish I had my notes on him. But he's one of these guys that like to take a word like, I'm trying to think of a good word.
Glory hole.
That'd be a good one, except it's all,
wrong podcast for that one.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to think what some of his stuff is, the god Osiris in, Egyptian, in the Egyptian, pantheon. The word Osiris is derived from the word Sirius, and Sirius has something to do with the sun. What was he likes to take, what he does is he takes a well, he calls them, he has no clue to what, I'm trying to remember, exactly, because, Osiris, Horus, Ra, those, Egyptian gods, I'm trying to remember if, I'm probably screwing this up, that the Egyptian, those names are actually Greek. Those are not Egyptian words. The actual, I forget. I'm trying to remember. No, because I know that, a lot of what we attribute to being Egyptian is actually Greek. And, because the Greeks actually were the ones who compiled much of what we know about Egypt, because they pretty much were at a point were almost running Egypt before the Romans kicked them out. So there was a lot of these words, but, he's like saying that the Egyptian god this, which is, of course, he's using the Greek word, which represents, it all ends up pointing back to sun worship and, the Babylonian, sun gods. And that kind of interlinked with Ike's, this belief that the reptiloids may have been and it may have been part of this Planet X, where, Nibiru, Zechariah Sitchin has linked, this Planet X to Babylonian text, the Epic of Gilgamesh and some of the religious writings out of Babylon. And again, it's this Nephilim who had came to Earth when Planet X came around. They jumped off. I forget if it was, I think it is Sitchin talks about, a mass ejection from Jupiter past Mars, killed the life on Mars, picked it up, dropped the life off on Earth, and then this mass settled into an orbit, which is Venus. Because there's religious texts about, I think it's, and again, it's maybe a Roman legend about Jupiter giving birth to Venus. How they come up with these connections, don't ask me how. I mean, I'm totally lost. But to get back to this, it's like trying to get back into this thing, it's, these guys like Sitchin and Maxwell brought David Icke over to the United States. Art Bell actually makes the claim that he brought him over.
Thanks, Art.
Yeah. Either or, it's like, fuck you guys. Yeah. Fucking, but Icke makes a pretty good buck. He makes almost $2 million a year just doing these, going from conference to conference, spewing this ancient, this reptiles running the world. And I mean, he's made religious connections, various, ancient legends and so on, especially this, Planet X stuff. Of course, like with Sitchin, he self-taught himself Sumerian, and, apparently when his work was analyzed, these guys are saying Sitchin knows nothing about the, Sumerian grammar. Now, I don't speak Sumerian, so I can't say whether it's right or wrong, but it's like, guys that have studied Sumerian, cause apparently Sitchin, he within a year figured out how to speak Sumerian or Babylonian, whatever. So he did these really bad translations, and I mean, they were kind of close, but they were really, really bad, and that's where he gets his stuff. Of course, that feeds guys like Ike, Art, and encourages Art Bell to, there might be something, cause it's, again, the same tired. Well, since we don't understand, this could be real type of, attitude, it's, since we don't know what the Babylon, I'm coming to find out we do know a lot about the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, Aztecs, Mayans, the Incas, we're even, learning a lot about even the, satellites to these big, civilizations. I mean, China, we're getting we have a lot of information on, and, there's nothing in any of this stuff to say reptiles have landed on the planet and is doing this stuff to us. It's like, it's just amazing. I mean, it's amazing to me, and that's why I'm going on and on about it, is, just how they're making something out of nothing. And I love how this guy tells David Icke, no, my doctor, my vet, there's no facts. There's nothing in our documents saying that I am a reptile,
Yeah, well, hopefully he actually put this guy, whoever made this request, he got him psychological counseling because he definitely needs it.
Definitely. I wouldn't be surprised it wasn't Ike doing that because he does that kind of stuff. He does do that kind of stuff. And I thought I saw his name pop up in this article. Did I see it? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. Any evidence to disprove the theory that Mr. John Key is in fact a David Icke-style shape-shifting reptilian alien ushering humanity towards enslavement? Icke is a British author who contends that a Babylonian brotherhood of reptilian humanoids have infiltrated the highest levels of government and industry worldwide, suspending the rest of us in an illusory dream world. Okay, that's where I see the Ike. But it has Ike written all over it, so maybe one of his minions, one of his followers have thought they would do a nice thing and do a freedom of information thing.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering how many of these we get in the U.S. I mean, they've got to have the same crazies filing Freedom of Information Act requests. Is Obama really a space alien? Or, whatever.
I bet you, I don't know how long it is before the we can get an FBI file on Obama. But I bet you will find letters. I mean, not just the threats. I mean, that's what was neat about going through, FDR's FBI file. Because then there was like one after another death threat and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Freedom of Information Act, because I know Obama has been accused of being he's not a reptile, but he was, apparently involved with a program to, mind travel to Mars. Apparently, there was some secret government program that, humans have been, teleporting to Mars. And, there's some civilization there that they've been in contact with, and they've spent years with them.
Yeah, these people are just crazy. I mean, I guess it proves that it's not just the religious. Humanity as a species is just off its fucking rocker. It really comes down to how our brains are wired and how they work. We will we'll see things that really aren't there, pareidolia. The way our brains construct the universe. That's why we get works of sci-fi, Jules Verne, Arthur C. Clarke, Gene Roddenberry, all these wonderful, neat stories. And, sometimes people go beyond, the sci-fi and trying to turn it into sci. No, it don't work that way. Yeah, well, and I think the funniest thing is you will get religious people looking at this going, God, that's stupid. That's ridiculous. It's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. And then when you say, well, what about your beliefs? Oh, but they're true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not so much, no.
Well, yeah, because, when you're sitting there, what would it be? The funniest thing is that a lot of these conspiracy type stuff, the David Ickes, these are all based on, most of Ike's stuff's off of Babylonian, religious text, but Von Daniken and his Ancient Aliens, he's relied heavily on the Bible. This is the stuff that he says he's derived from the Bible. And the religious will call him nuts because, what Von Daniken is doing is saying, well, God isn't really God. These are space aliens that have visited us. And, I think once that collision between space alien and God, I think that could very well be where, you'll believe up to that point. And then once Van Daniken says, cause God, cause there's one, I don't know what Bible it's in, but it's, God created man in his likenesses and his images and likenesses, plural, which implies that there's multiple gods, which means space aliens. And, the religious say, wait a minute, that's just a metaphor for, the multiple aspects of God. It's not that there's multiple gods. It's one God, multiple, so then they can that breaks the belief, I guess, between what Van Daniken says, that these are space aliens and, that the space aliens are gods, and that's when it breaks.
Yeah, it's too bad they don't all recognize that it's all the same religious nonsensical bullshit.
It's all nonsense, what anybody says,
Yeah, everybody embraces their own nonsense and laughs at everybody else's.
Yeah.
We just laugh at it all.
Can't help it.
Well, yeah, because it's just so ridiculous. All right, well, why don't you go ahead and take your last story?
Okay, I will take my last story.
Finally, Pentecostal chaplain John Kaufman came out and said this: marriage is the combat multiplier, in that it gives married troops hope and a reason to fight well, defending one's country, of which marriage and families are the foundation. But homosexuality is a combat divider, dividing one's reason to live while taking breaks on the combat field to change diapers, all because the treacherous sin causes them to lose control of their bowels. Well, forgive me for the graphic image there, but there are physical and biological consequences of that kind of conduct.
Ex-Navy chaplain. Consequences of sin force gay soldiers to wear diapers in combat. I've seen this guy Klingenschmidt, or whatever, this guy.
Dumbass.
No, I know dumbass, he's cool.
Alright, dipshit, okay.
This guy.
Dippin' Schmidt, I don't know.
Yeah, Dippin'
shit. I don't know.
Whatever this guy, he seems to, I don't know, has he been around for a while? I mean,
Yeah.
Because he's, this stuff, Gordon Dr. Chaps, Klingenschmidt, read from a press release earlier this month by 3 retired military chaplains who claim that allowing LGBT troops to serve openly in the military undermines civilization itself, reported Right Wing Watch. Klingenschmidt, who was reprimanded by the U.S. Navy for disobeying orders against political activities in uniform, said the retired chaplains were advocating on behalf of active duty religious leaders who are unable to speak out. This guy is like...
Stupid, yes.
I would expect this out of a Ray Comfort, out of a Ken Ham. But even these guys are moderate compared to this guy.
Yeah, well, worse off, this guy's actually running for office in Colorado. So I went and looked him up. His platform includes an opposition to all educational standards. He wants to repeal all gun laws. He wants to legalize discrimination against gays with regard to health care. And anybody who isn't, according to him, going to heaven shouldn't have equal rights under the law. This is what this guy wants to be, or wants to bring to Colorado and to the rest of the U.S.
Yes, and Colorado's gonna laugh.
Unfortunately, no, because Colorado is a fundamentalist wingnut state. He probably could get elected there. It's as bad as Mississippi and some of those southern states. It's really horrible there.
Okay. I always thought it was Colorado's kind of a hippie state, so maybe I'm wrong.
Not really.
Because if it's a hippie state, then this guy, he'll be lucky to get a vote or two, but then maybe the rural,
Colorado is one of the states that always has creationism issues, where they're always trying to get creationism into the schools.
Okay.
So it's a mess. Yeah. This guy is just a complete fucking idiot. I mean, there's no way you can get around that. He's one of, Right Wing Watch's typical whipping boys. We've done plenty of stories about this dumbass before. I'm trying to figure out just how crazy he is, though. I mean, I don't know if he fits into the Alex Jones school of crazy, or, if he's not that bad. Yeah. I really think he's kind of that bad. He hasn't started spouting space aliens yet, but he's pretty much on that level.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing, that's what struck me, because I don't think I'd ever heard this guy before until we did talk about him before. Maybe.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, because maybe now because he's probably now trying to campaign for his election or whatever. I wonder if he's got to go through a primary or anything like that, but maybe that's maybe why I'm hearing more about him, and it's sticking in my head because some of this stuff is, I hope there's people that don't buy into this guy's crap, because, this guy's an embarrassment. He's really just I'm just trying to look at the guy. I'm trying to see if there's a steel plate in his head or something to say that this guy's, this guy's just, everything I've read about this guy he's a moron.
Pretty much. I don't know how much more you can say about this guy. He's just a frickin' lunatic. And I love, when you go through and talk or looked at some of the things that his his chaplains were saying. They were going, well, heterosexual marriage gives hope to troops and a reason to return home. Well, I guess being alive isn't a good enough reason to return home. But how does this give any hope to gay troops? And how does the existence of homosexual marriage change anything for the straight troops? It makes no sense at all. You know, why are you worried about just who's married to who? Aren't you worried about getting back to whoever you're married to? Yeah. I mean, have you guys stopped to thinking about any of this stuff before you just spout it?
Apparently not. I mean, if he has to think, that means, I don't know, means he might have to rub those last two brain cells together.
Yeah. Oh, and then they're going, perverts, pedophiles, and the psychiatrically ill are just horrible, awful people, but they don't mention all the Catholic priests and the other clergy members who rape children, who are perverts, pedophiles, and psychiatrically ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah, don't worry about them. You know, we're only focusing on the gay.
Right.
Well, guys, no, there's more gays out there who are just perfectly fine and happy and healthy and all that than there are pedophile priests who are out there fucking kids. But you don't seem to have a problem with those people because they're part of your club.
That's what I love about these guys. By opening their mouths, I mean, I want to just double check here. Is he a Republican? Please be a Republican.
Well, I would assume he would be, but I don't know.
I'd like to, because, I mean, it's this kind of stuff. That was my take from the last election, is that you got guys like this who open their mouths. I mean, they're opposed to everything, and they seem to be, I don't know, they're trapped in the 1900, 1920 era, you know, where men or blacks, women, you know, they were, you know, whites only, you know, world, women are barefoot and pregnant, and gays were in the closet. I mean, that's the world that he lives in, and he wants to go back to that, and they talk about this. And if he's a Republican, it's going to kill, I mean, I think the Republican Party's dying anyhow. I mean, they're just about as irrelevant as religion almost nowadays. I mean, I think both parties are not that great, but I think the two parties, I think the Republicans are in the lead to become totally irrelevant. And, because of guys like that. And it's this, Michelle Bachmann's been getting vocal about, gay rights and stuff like that. And, you know, it's like, you know, if they keep talking, there's no way a Republican could get elected in the United States. You know, I don't know who's going to be running for president on the Democratic side. Biden, maybe?
No, it's going to be Biden or Hillary. Both of them are crap.
Right. But, you know.
Come on, put Klingenschmidt up against them. See who wins.
They'll be voting Hillary.
Well, actually, I just went back and looked, and the last time we talked about Klingenschmidt was back in episode 41, where he was saying that there was the demon of rape inside this movement to violate your daughters, if you remember that.
Okay.
It's that guy.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. Same shit.
Yeah, he's the guy who's afraid of transsexuals using women's bathrooms and all that.
Yes.
These people, I don't know.
Perfect Republican.
Well, I mean, I'd love to see the Republicans actually get rid of all these religious fucktards and actually become a relevant party again, because we need a conservative party in this country.
Yeah.
Right now we have two liberal parties, and it's not, you know, no wonder the whole country's going to hell.
Yeah.
You know, you got the religious liberals, and you've got the social justice liberals, and you don't have anybody who's actually conservative. You don't have anybody who's actually rational and intelligent. You just have idiots who are borrowing and spending or taxing and spending as fast as their little fingers can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing any hope coming up. You know, and the funny thing is, since I am still registered Republican, the GOP keeps sending me these questionnaires of who would you vote for in the upcoming election, and I keep voting for people who are not religious, and they keep going, well, tell us why you would vote for these people. And I told them, I said, because these people are not religious idiots. These people are more conservative than you people. And they're actually going to do things that are good for the country instead of good for your religious idiotic beliefs. They don't respond. They don't care. You know, I'm surprised they even put them on the list anymore. You know, they still have all the ultra religious fucktards, Bachmann and all those other idiots.
I don't know exactly what happens to that, that particular, questionnaire. I would hope that there's more people like you filling out, when you fill out those things, that they actually, cause I would love it that there was more people like that, and that the Republicans actually read these things. It'd be nice if they just took and read that thing and says, wow, we never thought that there's,
Well, you had it right there. They never thought. That was exactly correct.
Yeah. Because when I saw the analysis on why Obama won the last election, like Fox was going, well, they had more money and they had better sponsors and everything, but the fact that they didn't say anything about these knuckleheads, guys like Klingerschmidt, who were spouting their mouth off this bullshit, whether it be religious, racist, homophobic, what else? Some of the other, cause I heard all sorts of just unenlightened, very stupid Republicans going out and speaking their mind. I guess on one way you have to respect them for sticking their neck out and saying this stuff, but it's, what they were saying was stupid. Just plain and clearly stupid. And then, the Republicans are saying, well, maybe, we couldn't get this vote, or we couldn't get the Latin vote. We couldn't get the black vote. It's like, no, you had stupid people spouting stupid, ancient, old ideas and then expecting sensible people. I would like to think that even the most hardcore religious type would see these people for what they are, and they're just a bunch of stupid morons. Guys, like this, that would actually say, well, I believe in God and, young earth creationist, but I can't abide by what this guy is saying. I would hope that there was something like that going on, and they wouldn't vote for this guy because he's that he is clearly a moron, even though I believe in something that's idiotic too, but recognizing that this guy is a moron. I would hope that there was people like that even within the Republican Party. I would hope.
Well, I'm just looking up Klingenschmidt, and from what I can see, he hates the Democrats and he hates the Republicans, and he is describing himself as an American Taliban cleric. So you take from that whatever the hell you want to take from it.
Okay, what I take from that is he's got some pretty good drugs there in Colorado. Well, did they legalize it yet?
Yeah, they did.
For regular use?
They did, and they're finding out it was a really bad idea because I think traffic fatalities due to drug use are up like 300% and all this other shit. But this isn't a drug show, so.
Right. I don't know, but he's definitely on something. It's probably stronger than marijuana.
He's on religion. That's his problem.
That's his problem.
All right. Do we have anything else to do this week, or are we gonna call it quits?
Yeah, let's call it quits. I can't think of anything because I don't really have anything to rant about except there's, like I said, it's just been one of those really weird, I don't want to go into it because this is a, area that I don't really want to talk about because we've kind of had that general rule not to talk about these people, but there's definitely, I don't know what it is, but there seems to be a rash of crazy stuff that I don't even know what to think. So, maybe maybe sometime.
You can. We can do like a rant next week or something.
Yeah, cause this has to do with, Rebecca Watson.
Yeah, fuck her.
It's like, I don't want to talk about her, but it's along those lines, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna, I'm fighting it. Let's put it that way. But it's.
Alright, hold on. I have to look at this real quick.
Sure.
As much as I hate doing, come on, dude. Okay, Gordon Klingenschmidt, his official site at gordonforcolorado.com. Let's see. Yeah, this guy's just a fucktard. Yeah. I don't think he's part of any party. I think he's just running completely independent because he's just out of his mind.
Okay.
But everything he does is part of a YouTube video, so I'm not gonna watch those. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you, dude. Alright, well that's it for the week. I'm done.
I'm done too.
My mind is melting. I'm done. Well, that was it. Did you like it? If so, tell your friends. Heck, tell your enemies. We're not picky. Just tell somebody. Rate us on iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Talk to us on Google+, Facebook, Twitter, and our very own website. We get lonely. We'll see you back in another week with a brand new show. Hope to see you all then, and take care.
Good night, everyone.
You've been listening to the Bitchspot Report podcast with your hosts, Cephas and Mike. You can follow us on Twitter respectively at Bitchspot1 or at JDRipper1962. Please visit our website at report.jdragononline.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/The Bitchspot Report. We're also on Google+, iTunes, and YouTube. Those links are at our website. We'd love to hear from you. You can reach us via email at report@jdragononline.com. Comments, ideas, and suggestions are always welcome. We'll be back next week with another fun and fact-filled episode. Please tune in again.